Hey guys, it's Kira, your favorite trauma informed money coach from Budget and Hill, where I help women to get out of debt and out of financial survival mode through financial literacy, personal development, and accountability. And today, guys, I realized I have never brought you guys behind the scenes with me to do one of my money dates. I typically do money dates on Sundays, right? And today is Sunday, December 7th. So I typically do my money dates on Sundays, and full disclosure, guys, this is actually a micro money date, right? I also do money dates, monthly money dates with my fiance. But I want to bring you guys behind the scenes with me so that you can see how I give it up doing my, on my money dates. Now, here's the thing about the money date. The money dates are super helpful. Especially the micro money dates are super helpful if you are very uncomfortable with looking at your numbers, right? In doing it this way, you can take a bird's eye view as opposed to being super close up on your numbers, right? We want to make sure your nervous system is always calm, right? Especially when you're doing things of this nature. And one of the ways you can do that is by considering a micro money date. So, when a micro money date, I do have an agenda for you guys. In a micro money date for today, guys, I will be discussing my December budget. Now, that is an overview of my December budget. I will also be discussing my Roth IRA plan for 2025. I know we're in December, but I'm about $875 away from maxing out my Roth IRA. And I'll also be discussing my plans for my Roth IRA for 2026. I've been looking at about 3 different options, so we'll see. I'm going to do a net worth check-in with you guys. I've never done that with you guys before, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to be discussing my savings rate, and I'm also going to be talking about a wedding expense update I have coming up. Now, what I also do on my micro dates, I begin the process of starting my paycheck budget. So what does that look like on a micro date? On a micro date, I just write out, okay, the budgeting aspect of the actual paycheck budget. Remember, guys, when you write down budget, when you write in a budget column, you're actually budgeting for those particular categories. So you're basically saying, this is what I'm planning to happen. That's the budget column. Now though you do those before your paycheck hits your deposit. Okay. So that's what I did today. That's just the start. So just the budget columns are completed, right? Because that's what I'm planning for. And the reason why I do this with my paycheck budget is because you have to plan for your money. That's very important. If you don't have a plan for your money will always have a plan for you. And that plan will be to leave you, right? So we always have to make sure we plan for the money, okay? And I also wanted to go over a couple other things with you guys, but on a micro level, not on a major level. We're doing micro. This is a micro money day, okay? Because we don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to be overwhelmed myself. Yes, I paid off a significant amount of debt. Just as a reminder, I paid off $111,722.47 in student loans, personal loans, and credit card debt in 3 years. I did it in 3 years. But guess what? I still take steps to ensure that I am not overwhelmed. I still take steps to make sure I continue my budget. I still take steps to make sure I'm saving money. I still take the steps that I need to take so that I don't go back to where I was, right? I was drowning in that credit card debt, student loans, and personal loan debt. So I'm very consistent with working on my relationship with money and my behavior with money, right? So that's important. And I do it in micro doses, right? So to get started, guys, I do have an agenda, right? And December paycheck budget overview. I do have my regular expenses that I already know, right? So, and if you guys remember, my first paycheck is typically very light. This one will be even lighter because I'm off from work. We only have about 15 days of work in this month. So that's less gas, less food, less traveling, right? So that's less money spent. I also received a check, a $450 check. If you guys remember my previous paycheck budget, I received a $64.10 check from my car insurance, right? As a dividend, I received a $450 check from the Anchor program. Now, the Anchor program is a program in New Jersey. If you are a renter or if you own your own home, you meet the qualifications, they send you money. The minimum, I believe, is $450, and it goes up from there. So I would say that's free money, but there's no more expensive money than free money. But we got plans for that money. I added that I budgeted that into the actual paycheck budget so that I have a plan for it. And I'll talk about what I'm going to use it for in a few. So my regular savings are still the same: stress-free sinking fund, household sinking fund, investment sinking fund. Those are the only three savings that typically come out of my first paycheck, which I have not gotten yet, which I receive on the 15th of December. Uh, for my recurring bills, it looked like it's only going to be 3 this month. Only rent, food, and gas. I don't anticipate Easy Pass. I don't anticipate laundry because I have money already on those particular categories. For expenses, this is an overview, right? Expenses, I have a wedding expense for $838.96. That $450 that I received, that check, I added it to my wedding expense, right? My baby birthday is this month. I'm going to get him what do you call it? A nut milk maker. The church, I put in for the church. The church is having an event in March, and that will be $75. Right? So this is just a brief overview. This is where the paycheck budget stops for right now because, again, it's just an overview. It's a micro money date. Let me just see what's happening for the month of December with my money, right? And now, guys, I wanted to transition to talking about the Roth IRA. So I have been on this journey of maxing out my Roth IRA, which is a huge accomplishment for myself because like I said, guys, I was in a lot of debt. And to go from being in that much debt to being able to pay yourself, to invest in yourself, in your future self, that's a shift, right? That's a huge shift that I made. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to do that. And I wanted to share that with you guys because the Roth IRA is so important in that it is a tax-free investment vehicle. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a certified public accountant. I am a trauma-informed money coach. I'm also an accredited financial counselor candidate, but I do not tell you what to invest in, but I'm telling you, look into the Roth IRA. That is tax-free money. There are limits to how much you can contribute, but it is definitely something you want to look into, whether you're paying off debt or not. It is something that you really want to look into. And I have about $875 remaining to contribute for 2025. And I wanted to, for 2026, okay, let me back up. I have $875 left to contribute to my Roth IRA in order to max it out. I will be also transferring money from my savings to my Roth IRA. Now, when I say I'm transferring money from my savings to my Roth IRA to max it out, I'm specifically referring to transferring the interest that I accumulated in my high yield savings account to max out my Roth IRA. So I'm essentially using money that I didn't do anything to accumulate, right? But be consistent and implement some discipline to allow the money to grow in the bank account, right? And I'm using the interest that they pay me every single month, and I'm using that to fully fund my Roth IRA. Now, that I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very, very proud of myself for that, because I could have went out and blew it. Full transparency, guys, when I first got the $450 check, you should have saw me in here. I said, okay. What am I going to spend it on? Oh, I could get some uniforms. Oh, I should buy some uniforms. I should spend a whole $450, buy some uniforms. Then I said, wait, I should buy some uniforms, get a mani, a pedi. I should get cute, braid my hair. Oh, but what if you do something then I said, but wait a minute. What if you use that for something else? And then I said, you know what I'm going to do? Because I feel that rush. I'm no different than you. Because I feel that rush, right? What I'm going to do is take a beat. I'm going to take a moment, and I'm going to deposit that check into my high yield savings account. And then I'm going to wait. I received the check Friday. Today's Sunday. I said I'm going to deposit the check into my high yield savings account, right? And by me taking a beat and not being impulsive, right? I was able to say, okay, you know what? I feel like that money would be better used on our wedding expense. And I feel good about it. I don't have the same level of excitement that I had initially to buy the uniforms. Even though I can use new uniforms for work, I don't need them. Right? So that's something I wanted to share with you guys, because it's normal when you get some money in your pocket, that especially money that you didn't work for, you just, like, oh, this is windfall money. Oh, I could blow this. Let me blow this bag. Just like, nah, what else can I do? What else can I do so that when I spend it, I'm proud of the way that I spent it. And that spending is in alignment with my core values, right? So that's what I'm doing with that. Now, to backtrack back to the Roth IRA. For 2026, I already have the plan to max it out for 2025. That's done. That's pretty much in the bag. For 2026, they increased the contribution limits. For my contribution limits is $7,500. So one option I was looking at is either fully funding it the beginning of the year, so January 2026, just adding the $7,500. And then I said, with the way the economy is right now, maybe I should take a beat with that. Maybe I should hold on for that, right? And then I said, well, what if instead of maxing it out in 12 months, I actually utilize the 16 months? So what I mean by that, guys, is you have 16 months to fully fund your Roth IRA. You don't need to do it in 12 months. You don't have to do it in 1 month, right? You have 16 months. So for example, you have from January 1st, 2026 to April 15th, 2027. That is 16 months. You have 16 months to fully fund your Roth IRA. So let's say you're like me and you want to fully fund your Roth IRA for 2026, right? You would say, all right, $7,500 divided by 16 months is how much? $468.75 every month. That's what will be coming out of your paycheck every month for 16 months. $468.75. If you wanted to max out your IRA, your Roth IRA in 12 months, then you will have to pay $625 every single month for 12 months. So clearly, this 16 months gives you a little more wiggle room, right? Because in that instance, you will only have to contribute $468.75 for 16 months. Okay. So I think I'm going to do the $468.75. If the economy was better, I would fully front load it, $7,500 January, and then focus on another financial goal. But because of the economy, I'm going to make sure I have access to the funds that I have, right? And just be consistent and consider different ways of doing things, which I just share with you guys, okay? So hopefully that's helpful to you if you guys are interested. Plus, to be completely honest, if you're not able to max out your Roth IRA, that's okay. If you could send $25, that's okay. The goal is to develop the habit. Don't focus so much on how much, but focus on the actual habit, okay? So, speaking of the Roth IRA, I track my entire net worth monthly, including the Roth IRA. I track my net worth utilizing the Empower app. And currently, my net worth is $187,867.29. And that is, let's see, 22, 3, 4, 5. That is 3 years and almost a month after paying off all of that debt. 3 years. That is not a long time. Almost 200K in 3 years and less than a month after paying off debt. So guys, once you pay off your debt, you're literally able to keep all of your money. Now, I'm not talking about your regular standard bills like your rent, your mortgage, whatever. I'm talking about you're not paying people, right? You're not paying people in regards to debt. Now you're paying yourself. You're paying your current self. You're paying your future self. And those, remember I was just talking about the high yield savings account, how I'm using the interest to max out my Roth IRA. Now I'm being paid interest. Before, I was paying them interest. It feels so good to be on the other side of that. That is super, super, super important. And that's a feeling that I not only a feeling, it's a feeling that it's an emotion. It's even that level of awareness. I didn't have that when I was in debt. I didn't know that was a thing, but now I know. And that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So that is my net worth for the month, $187,867.29. Now, as you guys can see, there's like a really huge increase. What happened there was full transparency, because I'm not about to be capping. That's not what I do. I don't be lying. What happened there was one of my accounts was not updating, so I removed it, and then I installed it back. And when I installed it back, it shot up as if like I got $55,139 in one day. That's not what happened. I just removed the account that wasn't updating, and then I put it back, and then it began to upload again. So that's important. And in the Empower app, guys, you can add all of your assets, all of your liabilities. So all of the credit card debt, or all of the credit card debt you have, you can add it in there. Student loan debt, you can add it in there, right? Car loan debt, you can add it in there. You can also add in, if you own your home, you add that in. You add all of your assets in there, all of your retirement accounts, your savings accounts, your checking account. You add all of those things in there, and it will literally calculate your net worth for you. So just, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but your net worth is actually how much you have minus how much you owe, right? And that's what you're left with is your net worth. And the reason why this is important, I started doing this when I was in debt. I started tracking my net worth, and I'm not going to lie, it was so fulfilling to see the debt go down and my net worth increased. That was very inspirational, motivational. It kept me going. And I'm going to actually insert a screenshot of the first time I tracked my net worth. It was like negative $41,000 and some change. And when I say I was hurt because I had no idea I was negative. Even though I felt it, even though I knew I owed debt, I didn't know I was in the negative, if that makes sense. And when I saw that, I was so hurt. I was hurt for a few, maybe, in all honesty, maybe a couple days. And then I was like, nah, Mm-mm. And it inspired me. It inspired me. And once I saw, like I said, once I saw the debt going down and my net worth increasing, that was a motivating factor for me to keep going. So if you are in debt, I encourage you to begin tracking your net worth. It will be very motivational on your journey because you'll have your own experience of seeing your debt go down and your net worth increase. Okay. So that is super duper important and it's free. They do have they do have paid versions, but I use the free. We ain't trying to accumulate more subscriptions, child. Just use the free. It works. It works for what we need it to work. I also recently did my savings rate review, and basically your savings rate is how much you're saving from a percentage basis, right? So I save more money monthly than I bring home. So my take home pay is less than my savings, right? I save more than I bring home. And I like that because I purposely, intentionally live below my means so that I'm able to hit my goals, right? I am what I consider to be a late bloomer. I started late. Full transparency, my father told me years ago, open up a Roth IRA, max out a Roth IRA. And guess what? I did open it. I didn't max it out. I did open it, but I also closed it because I used the money. I had 401ks and I had that years ago. And I used to always dip in it. Hardship this, hardship that, hardship this, hardship that. And is it something I regret today? Yes. Because if I would have listened, I probably would have been retired if I would have listened. But at the same time, I'm grateful because now it's like everything my father said financially, it is coming back to me. And that's why I feel like on this journey, it's like it's not the first time I'm being introduced to these concepts, but now I'm mature enough to be able to understand them. Now I'm not in financial survival mode anymore, so I'm able to digest it, understand it, and work on my relationship with money so that I'm able to basically plant the seeds, right, and then harvest those same seeds. And as of now, my savings rate is 52%. My goal is a mighty hefty goal, but my goal is to get it to 70%. And I will talk to you guys as the months go on about how I plan on doing that because it is a bit drastic. But it's something that my fiance and I have been talking about, and we'll make a final decision about it like in May, April, May. But it is something that I've been talking to him about, and he's on board, but we said instead of making a decision today, we're gonna give it some time, see how things go, and then we'll make that decision a little bit later on in the year. So maybe second quarter 2026. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on, what that's all about. And the reason why I will tell you the reason why I'm considering it. The reason why I'm considering it is because I do desire financial independence. I do desire financial independence. I really love my job. I love what I do. I love how I do it. I also love the concept of being financially independent. I love that concept and I believe I can achieve that. I believe we can achieve it, me and my fiance. I believe it is something that is possible, doable, and we just have to work out the numbers. We got to get our fire number, right? Our fire number. And we have to basically just sit down and go through things and not operate from an emotional space, but from a space of calm and clarity and do it while things are pretty good, right? We don't have to make that decision right now. So it's the best time to talk about that decision because it's not like we're having a heated debate. It's not like we're under a bunch of stress, a bunch of pressure, right? Those are when you want to have those types of conversations when things are going really, really good. That's the best time to have those types of conversations, okay? And last but not least, wedding expense update. So for the month of December, I have a wedding expense of $838.96. That is not too bad. But in the upcoming months, January, February, March, that's when the big money is going to be spent, right? And I'm preparing myself mentally, emotionally preparing myself because like I said, I'm just like you. When I'm still working on, okay, you save money, right? And you spend money, right? You don't want to just hoard money. You want to spend the money, right? Not all of it, obviously, but you want to spend the money. You want to be intentional about what you spend it on, how you spend it, and make sure, again, when you're spending it, it aligns with your core values, right? So we're not having a big wedding. We are not having a big wedding, but we are doing something big as a wedding gift to each other. So that's where the big money part comes in. And I'll share with you guys after we do it. I'll share it with you guys after we do it for sure. And in fact, I'm going to take you guys on a journey with us so you can see. But yeah, I'm just preparing myself for that because have I spent that much money before? I haven't spent that much money since I spent it paying off debt. I'm going to insert if I could find it. I'm going to insert how much I used to pay off in debt, and you guys can see I would pay like $10,000 one month, $15,000 one month. I would pay like $1,200 one month. Then I'll come right back and do more, pay more. It was a lot. I didn't do a lot of 10,000, 12,000 months, but I did enough that I look back over that and I said, wow, I can see how desperate I was to get out of debt because of the payments. It'll say something, guys, I'm gonna insert that. It would be like on Friday, I might pay $500. The next Wednesday, I paid $700. That Wednesday, I paid $700. That Friday, I may pay $500. It was like all the money I was getting, I was throwing it at that debt. And I promise you, it was 100% worth it. It was worth it. But I'm going to insert that so you guys can see what that looks like, what it looked like for me, and how even paying off a substantial amount of debt, right? It was helpful. It was worth it. But when it's time to pay off, that's my baby. Sorry, guys. One sec. Baby.
Hey, what you doing there?
Recording. Can I call you right back?
No problem.
Are you okay?
I'm good. I just reached out to you to see what you're doing.
Okay, I love you.
Later.
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 Okay, so where was I? He just be throwing me off. But how aggressively I was paying off the debt. But what I was saying was, even in paying off debt aggressively and now paying adding money to our wedding for certain things, is still a work in progress because you're steadily, consistently working on your relationship with money, right? Yes, I'm going to put the money up. Yes, I'm going to make sure everything is in order. But is it like, oh, no. It's like, okay, let me do the numbers. How can I do it? Do I want to do it in one whop? Do I want to break it down? Do it like I literally go through these patterns because I want to make sure my nervous system stay regulated, right? Not just yours. I want to make sure my nervous system stay regulated. So yeah, guys, that is my micro money date for today. I wanted to bring you guys behind the scenes with me. I know it's not super duper uber detailed, but that's why we call it a micro money date. And if you're doing these every week, when you're doing these every week, right, it could take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? There's no time limit. We're not in competition. We know that. But when you're doing them every week, you pretty much have a grasp on what's happening. So I'll be back, guys, next week with my paycheck budget, my first paycheck budget for December. And we'll dig a little bit deeper. course, I will share different strategies with you guys because I'm not just here to tell you about how I pay off bills. I want to help you along your journey, okay? So if this video was valuable to you, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share if you care, okay? Have an amazing week ahead, guys. Remember, you can have whatever you want, okay? You can have whatever you want. Just be consistent. I'm here if you need me. Have an amazing week, guys. Later.